Hello, Africa. My name is Eunice Tonyi, and this is eTVGhana's African Women's Voices Show, the show that tackles with issues pertaining to women as we contribute to national development. How are you? Wow, another week is here again with us, and it's so lovely to be seeing you. Today, we've got an interesting lineup. Trust me, it's not just like a cliche, what I say all the time. I really want to show you that you need to really grab a seat and watch the program for today because we've got a lot of information to divulge to you. But first, I'd like to, do some acknowledgements to those who have made me look very beautiful. My makeup was done for me by Phyllis. Whoa, Phyllis, thank you so much. I like the way you are making me slay. And my clothing was also sponsored by Buratex Clothing, and she can be located at the Airport West area around the railway line. You can find her on Instagram at Buratex Clothing. Whatever size or shape you are, there's something really beautiful at her shop for you. And do not forget that once you get there, let her know that you found out about her on eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show, and she will definitely give you a treat. Our show is proudly brought to you by Voltic. Voltic, the natural mineral water that also is the reigning champion in the Ghana Beverage Awards for water of the company. Voltic has ensured that we are kept hydrated on the show and also ensured that all our guests who come on the show are all hydrated. That's why we say wherever you are, just choose your Voltic whenever you want to take your water. We are also supported by Chana Shito. When you are thinking about what kind of pepper sauce that will bring out the taste in that meal of yours, I don't want you to look anywhere else. Just try out Chana Shito if you haven't tried it out. The packaging is wonderful, very presentable, and the taste is also very good. We've got chunks of, fish or meat in it, depending on how you want it. Very hot and spicy or mild. We've got something for everyone's taste buds. But now I'm going to be introducing you to the 60 seconds update segment where we'll let you know what's happening around us in 60 seconds. So do stay tuned. When I return, I'll be introducing my guest to you. Stay tuned.
7,000 health personnel released for voters registration exercise, Jean Mensa. The Ghana Health Service has released some 7,000 health personnel for the voters registration exercise, which begins today, June 30, 2020. Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensa, who disclosed this at a press briefing on Monday, said the health personnel will help in ensuring that the necessary COVID-19 safety protocols are adhered to at the various registration centers. She said, it is important to note that the Ghana Health Service released 7,000 health assistants to each of the registration centers nationwide. It is expected that the health assistants will assist us in ensuring strict adherence and to the safety protocols outlined by the Electoral Commission, and we will rely on your cooperation, dear citizens. Only a new voters register can ensure credible 2020 elections, Mameya. Deputy Communications Director of the New Patriotic Party, Mameya Abuaji, has urged all Ghanaian electorates not to abstain from the new voters registration exercise. She implored every eligible person in the country to exercise their mandate as a good citizen. Electoral Commission before the case had already set Tuesday, June 30, to compile a new voters register for the presidential and parliamentary elections in December 2020. To Mameya, only a new voters register can ensure Ghana has a credible 2020 election. Make yourself available to learn. Doreen Ando tells youth as she celebrates 25 years with Joy FM. Broadcaster Doreen Ando says, young men and women willing to take up any opportunity in their life must be willing to learn. According to her, it is one way to help them achieve their goal and make their mark in whatever they choose. The Queen of the Airwaves said that it is important for young people to enjoy themselves in what they do, but to also learn composure while doing it. I was in a job place where there's a lot of men, and I had to say, you know what? If you had to succeed, you need to have your head up, and I did.
And you're welcome back from the commercial break. I still have some messages here for you. And the first one here is from PPE. It says, stay safe and protected in quality and affordable PPEs, such as disposable protection face masks, KN95, face shields, goggles, thermometer guns, powdered examination gloves, disposable protective clothing, etc. They offer retail and wholesale supplies as well as deliveries within Accra and Tema. Locate them within the Thai Massage Building in Osu and Community 12 Tema, Edum Market, Kumasi. You can also call them on 059 5161205 or 059 2406921 or on 0244 546 844. And you will be assured of the best of protection. So reach out to them right after now and let them know exactly what it is that you want, especially if it has to do with wholesale services and retail services as well. So I still have other information for you, but we're going to hold on with that because I know you're itching to hear from our guest for today. So earlier on, I mentioned to you on social media and even on our commercials on TV that we're going to be treating compatibility in marriage and relationships. So we were trying to make us understand how compatible people could be in their marriages and their relationships. And with relationships, we're not only looking at amorous relationships, we are looking at relationships among siblings, relationship between a worker and the boss, and even amongst the colleagues. You know, relationship everywhere. Once you have to interact with people, there's a kind of relationship that goes on there. And you need to understand, you know, how to be able to interact with each of the persons you meet. And today we're going to be helping you to understand. So when you hear that somebody is like this, you understand the reason why stuff is happening the way it is. And we're going to be looking at it from the perspectives of knowledge and also from the perspective of faith. So some people say, oh, I don't believe in something like this and that. We've got evidence to let you know that some of these things actually are faith-based as well. So I am not going to talk too much because our guest is ready and wanting to talk to us about all that she's got for us today. So a very big welcome to you, Angela.
Thank you.
Good to have you again.
Thank you.
Those of you who have been following the show, you remember that Angela was here, you know, some months back, and she came to teach us in-house how to produce our own sanitizers. And it's really been helpful because a lot of you have sent in your feedback as to how you were able to even start a business based on the education that Angela gave to us here on eTVGhana. And Angela, I want to say thank you to you on their behalf. Some people have actually opened up businesses from what you taught us here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so today we're not talking sanitizers. We are talking about relationships and compatibility. Okay, and I've already explained to our audience that we're going to be looking at a perspective that somehow people don't really talk about. We all know about temperaments. So people will say, oh, I'm sanguine, I'm phlegmatic, and this and that. But people haven't actually looked at, you know, the day we are born and the characteristics that also come around it. So today we're going to be delving into that aspect. Okay, but first of all, we'll have to, you know, do like a wrap up and get you up to speed to where we are, and then we continue. So to start up with the conversation, I would like you to please let us understand what it means to have a character trait, temperament, and personality. These three things, people usually use it interchangeably. So we want to understand when or how to use it.
Okay, character traits are influenced by the way we think, behave, and act.
Okay.
Okay, and our temperaments and personality form up our temperaments and character traits form up our personality.
Okay.
Okay, so temperaments actually originate from our genes.
Genes. Oh, okay.
Yes, and it's also influenced by our environment.
Okay.
And then with the personality, it's compromised. Personality comes from both temperaments and character traits. That's what forms personality.
Okay, so to bring you up to speed with the conversation, it means that character trait is something that you pick up from your environment. Your personality, your temperament is from your genes.
Yes.
So what you got from your dad or your mom is what influences your temperament. And then your personality is a combination of your character trait and then
Yes.
your temperament.
Yes.
Okay, so please just give us a quick rundown of the various or the major forms of temperament that we've got.
Okay, we have 4 major temperaments. We have the choleric, we have the sanguine, we have the phlegmatic, and we have
The
the melancholy as well. So these are the 4 major types of temperaments that we have.
Okay.
But then with each individual, we exhibit 1 or 2 main temperaments. We don't usually, one does not dominate. Usually it's the combination of 2 or more. Temperaments.
Yes. Okay, so our conversation today is not going to be based on temperament anyway. We are going to be having our conversations around the day people are born. In Ghana, we believe in Kofi, Ama, Kweku, Kwesi, Akosua. We believe so much in the day that we are born. Okay, so we want to also see how these days influence the kind of people we are. And then when we get to know when other people are born, it will help us to know how to be able to relate with them. So all of us were born on certain days, okay? So I know that I'm a proud Sunday born. And you may be a proud Monday born or Wednesday born. You are going to be finding out, things around you so that whoever you're relating with, you'll be able to understand the reason why the person behaves the way he or she does. Okay, so the conversation is getting very, very interesting. I also like to give credit to a certain guy who has been on social media, posting pictures around our days that we are born. This guy is Creole. Creole, thank you so much for always putting out those posts. Some people actually use it for their DPs and have used it for various things. And it's because you were able to educate us on that. That's how come today this conversation is happening. So thumbs up to you, Creole. Please keep doing the good things that you do, okay? All right, so now let's begin. Sunday is the first day of the week,
yes.
Okay? So what do we need to know about Sunday? But before you start, please, I'm sure my producer is hanging around. So we are going to be showing you something or some visuals so that you understand and follow us through. Because if you just have to listen, it may not really be easy. So eventually, we are going to share the information on our various social media platforms for eTVGhana. So we are going to show you what knowledge says that a Sunday born is. And she's going to tell us what faith is also saying around it. Then we put it together and give you what you need to know about those days. Okay, so we are starting with Sunday, which is the
yes.
first day of the week. All right.
With Sunday, that is the day that God said that let there be light from Genesis 1.
Okay.
Okay, so it's represented by the moonlight. Okay. Then the day 2, which is the Monday, God separated the waters from the waters, so it's dominated by water.
Okay.
Okay. Then the Tuesday, which is the 3rd day, God separated the waters from the waters and the land surface appeared. So it's dominated by dry land and vegetation.
Okay.
Then we have the 4th day, which is God said, let there be greater. He created a greater light
and
the lesser light, which is the sun and the moon. Okay. Then we have the 5th day that he created the birds of the air, the fishes of the sea. And then we have the 6th day, which is the Friday, where he created animals and mammals. Then he said, let us make man in our own image. So the day is represented by man dominating that day, then animals and mammals as well. Then on the 7th day, which is the last day, God looked at all his creation. He said it was very good. He blessed and sanctified that day, and he rested.
Okay.
So Saturday borns are man, represented by man that is blessed.
Okay.
So that is it.
Okay, so let's pick it one by one now. So if we can see what Sunday borns are characterized by based on what Creole is saying, based on knowledge from Creole's research. With what Faith is saying about Sunday.
Okay. So Sunday borns, the Bible is saying from Matthew 21, 1 to 11, that is when Jesus triumphantly entered Jerusalem. So he asked for the ass and the colt, and cloth was put on the floor for him to ride on. So Sunday borns are people who are influenced by praises and adoration.
Okay.
They like praises a lot. They like attention. And then the arts and cults that Jesus used brought honor into their lives. So with Sunday borns, it's only when they have Christ in their lives that they are able to receive a lot of glory and honor.
Okay.
Okay, so that is mainly the influence. All that went on in Jesus' life is what is influencing the Sunday borns.
Okay.
They like attention. They need to be praised to be able to get the best out of them. They are good at calculations as well.
Okay.
They don't really like eating. They are that sort of quiet type. They are not really harsh until you really push them to the wall. That's when you get a response from them.
So Sunday
Okay.
borns like a lot of praises.
Yes, a lot of praises. That's the only way you can get a child who is a Sunday born to even study well in class and do better. You have to
Okay.
encourage them and praise them. And they hate abuse and cheating of others as well.
Okay.
So they are not happy in an environment where people will be tricking people and abusing others. They do not like that.
Okay. All right. So now we know, if you're a parent and you're listening, you know your Sunday born child sometimes or all the time would be, be able to be effective if you're able to shower a lot of praises on them. So even when they're not doing well in school, your praises can motivate them to do better. They depend so much on these praises. And when it comes to being harsh, it's until you push them before they react. So let's know this. If you also have a sibling who is a Sunday born, now you know how to deal with this sibling. If you have a boss who is a Sunday born, you know that this boss is somebody who will really be appreciating a lot of praises. So you have to find, good ways to be able to, showcase that side of you to that boss of yours. Okay, so moving on to Monday.
Okay. Monday was a day during the Jesus' week of the crucifixion. That was when he cleansed the temple. So we have the scripture in Matthew 21, 12 to 17 to support this. Okay, so Monday borns are children, they breastfeed very well.
Okay.
It's dominated by water.
You see the reason why it's good you're saying what you're saying, because sometimes some parents feel like, this child of mine really likes to breastfeed, but the other sibling didn't even like the breast milk at all. If I push the other baby towards my breast to suckle, they don't like it. But this particular one, so this is the reason why probably some of them behave the way they do. They love to breastfeed.
Yes, they do. And purity and cleanliness is their hallmark for Monday borns. Okay, so children they like every environment, and then they like music and dancing.
Okay.
So they are that happy-go-lucky type of people, always free, sociable. They are very sociable as well. They enjoy creativity, and they warm up to people.
Okay.
So they do not mind. They like traveling a lot. They do not stay at one place.
They love to travel.
Yeah, they love to travel. And they are even able to do missionary work and all that due to their day. And they like strangers and visitors. So usually those born on that day tend to marry people from outside their home environment.
Okay, so sometimes you wonder, why is this son of mine, somehow you are looking at trying to understand the reason why your child has decided to go and marry maybe a foreigner, somebody from abroad, and you're wondering why. We've got a lot of people here in Ghana, so why would you want to travel abroad to get married? Sometimes it is that trait from the day he or she is born. That's actually the reason why. Are you exhausted with that, so that I could just check out what knowledge is saying about Monday borns?
Okay, Monday borns are also good communicators.
Okay.
So they do well in media and graphic as well. And then they are able to communicate in all aspects. They can publish books, etc.
Okay, wonderful. So please, if we can have what it says about Monday borns for both men and women, let's see whether there's a balance, with what we know from the day borns. Trio. We're looking at what Monday born is based on Creo's research. I just saw the Ajwa picture. Okay, so what does it say? It says that Monday borns are passionate, graceful, observant, clever, and they are too known. Okay, what does it say for the men? For the Monday born who is a man?
It relates to
Anyway, it relates to all of them. So from what it's saying here, I can actually see the balance. It's also great. They also are great friends.
Yes.
So which means that there are people who really like to meet with people, you know, outside of where they are. Because being people who are great friends means you can really embrace any kind of person to come close to you. And this friend may necessarily not be somebody that everybody expects you to be friends with, but somehow they find themselves being drawn to such people.
Yes.
Okay, so now we know about that the fact that on Sunday, they like being, you know, appreciated. And then for the Monday borns, they like to travel, they communicate better, and they are so sociable as well. Okay, so let's move to Tuesday.
Okay, so on Tuesday, that is the day that Jesus' authority was challenged. And we can find that in Matthew 21, 23 to 27. Okay, so they are usually action-oriented. That's the Tuesday bonds. And they believe in action now. So when they set their minds to doing a task, they do it straight away. They do not wait for anyone to convince them otherwise. Okay, they have their natural love for everything, like the way the land surface draws water and loves water, loves the sunlight, the moonlight, etc. So Tuesday bonds are people who naturally seek attention from others.
Okay.
So they always want to impress people. And usually they do not get the same attention in return. So that is usually the Tuesday bonds. And most of them do not like fruits and vegetables at all.
Okay.
So they are encouraged to eat more fruits and vegetables. And they are also the laborers of life. So they like working hard, but they do not like resting.
Wow.
Yes.
So if you have that spouse or father or sibling who is always working and doesn't want to take rest, this is because of something like this. Just have to check and know whether this person was born on Tuesday, probably what is influencing the way the person behaves. So you no longer have to, you know, get angry and say, why don't you like to rest? I don't want you to die and leave me because what you are doing is not fair. You know, all those things. You can't really use too much talking to change the person because that is how the person is. You really need to understand that this is how the person is, and how you are going to be able to tackle it is something we are going to be discussing with you later on the show. So I hope we are able to carry you along till now. Tuesday, you want to say something about
Tuesday? And one thing I would like to add, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, they eat a lot.
Okay.
Yes, and they do not know when to stop. So they are encouraged to eat only what they would like to eat and not abuse food. And the 3 days, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, are also materialistic.
Okay.
So they like buying. So they also, that is one of the ways in which they waste a lot of money. So they have to put a check to that as well. And the other issue with them is anger. Tuesday, Fridays, and Saturdays easily get irritated. So with them, if you are in an environment where you have a Tuesday, Friday, Saturday born, then when they get angry, you need to excuse them. Allow them to cool down on their own before you come back. Because they'll never see reason when you stand there and it will escalate the issue.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So in our relationships, now you know that people born on Tuesday are prone to this kind of character, getting angry. So it means that you just need to give them space when you see they're getting angry to be able to deal with them better. And they are also attention seekers. So it means that if she makes her hair, notice it, we beg you. And if he also does something really nice, gets a new tie or a new shirt, you also have to compliment it as well and talk about it. And you know, you could also have, you know, somebody at work who is also a Tuesday born. To be able to bond better with this person, you need to be able to, you know, show the person that you've really been able to get the person's attention. It will make them to be efficient and, you know, work better on the deliverables ahead for them. Okay, so moving on to what knowledge is saying. What is knowledge saying about a Tuesday born? Okay, Abena, it says that they are great parents. They are resourceful, responsible, reliable, caring, and foodian. Whoa! Whoa, there's a balance. They are foodians. They really like to eat. Okay, now we see that. Okay, so far what you've been saying, we've been able to find some traits in all the days that you've mentioned so far. So we are moving on to Wednesday. What does Faith say about Wednesday?
Okay, so it's the fourth day of the week, and within the last week of Jesus' death, nothing was recorded, as in Jesus coming out to do an activity. So naturally, Wednesday's borns are introverts. They really isolate themselves. They do not really talk a lot. If you see a Wednesday born that is a talkative, then it means they learned it from their environment.
Okay.
Okay, so they are also very creative. They are generally reserved people. They are very creative, and they like their Sunday counterparts as well. They like praises.
Okay.
But then there's something peculiar about Sunday and Wednesday. It's represented by the sun, greater light and lesser light. That's the sun and the moon. So these two groups of people are faced in nature.
Okay. Faced,
When,
you mean?
faced in terms of when they make a decision, you can
Nothing is
hardly
gonna
change
change
their
it.
mind, yes, until they execute that decision. It's very difficult for you to influence them. They are faced, and the Sunday and the Wednesday bonds have things in common, and that is they being faced in nature. So that the way the sun and the moon are in the firmaments, and they hardly move except the eclipse of the sun and the moon. That's the
how
way
they
they
are
are.
too.
Yes, and they are very good at cooking. They are very good at cooking as well. They are very creative.
Yeah, because they are creative people, it also
Hairdressing.
influences their cooking.
Yes, yes, hairdressing, good with dressmaking and calculation subjects, and they are good teachers as well.
As well. Wow.
Yes, so
that
is
could
it.
also explain the reason why sometimes you find that somebody has actually, gone to school and probably read medicine or did something professional, and the person just says, I don't really feel good about this particular course I've done. I want to go into dressmaking, or I want to go into music. I want to go into something like that. Sometimes
Yes,
it has got to do
yes.
with the day they are born.
Yes.
So now we have to better understand them. Even
Yes.
though they've gone to the school and they want to go ahead with music, you have to understand them and give them that leeway, because that is actually what they are drawn to. Okay? All right. So what is knowledge saying about Wednesday bonds? Kweku. Fashionable. You see what you're saying? They are very creative people. That translates into fashionable. They are caring. They are responsible, decent, honest, talented, and are also great parents. That's what we have for Wednesday borns. And then for the ladies, Ekwa, they are hardworking, they are caring, loyal, helpful, and they are the best wives. Wow. So now you understand the reason why that wife of yours, I mean, you don't know how to express yourself towards her, because she's just good. She's just good, So the influence could also be drawn, from the day she was born. Have we exhausted Wednesday?
There's something I would like to add.
Okay.
With the Wednesday bonds, unlike the Sunday bonds, Wednesday bonds are represented by the sun. So they are a bit harsh.
Okay.
So they are highly inflammable. If you try to get a fight with them, they can burn.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We are going to come back to the conversation, but right now we have to go for a quick commercial break. If you are a Thursday, Friday, Saturday born, we are yet to talk about yours. So please come and have a seat to be able to know what it is that influences your character. Okay, you're welcome back. So we'll quickly move to what happens on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay, please, you have.
Okay, with Thursday, their behavior and attitude is like air movement. Sometimes when the wind is blowing, it's very fast, and sometimes the wind blows, but then you not feel it. It's slow as well. So sometimes with the Thursday born, sometimes you see them very active in one day. The next minute they are so dull and moody.
Okay.
So they experience that sort of mood swings. So if you are with someone like that, you think they are trying to bluff or they are not sociable at a certain time, but that is because it's influenced by the wind movement. So Thursday born in the Bible from Mark 14:12 to 52. It was on that day that Jesus did the Passover feasts, and also he taught his disciples and prayed for them. Okay, so Thursday borns, like their Monday counterparts, breastfeed a lot as well. They are liberal in giving, and they are that type of people who go and spread friends, take friends out, go and buy things for them. They spend a lot on friends. They are sociable, and like the way Judas betrayed Jesus, there are people who are usually betrayed by friends. Thursday borns give to the extent that even when they don't have and someone asks them for any money, they go and borrow from another person to give the person.
Okay.
And then they end up having their money in the hands of others who have refused to pay back. So they are being cautioned to be watchful when it comes to giving, because sometimes they give and give to the extreme. So it shouldn't be like they've given and people are repaying them with evil, and then their money will rather end up in the hands of people while they go through suffering and poverty.
Okay, excellent. So this is something that people are actually facing in their relationships, at work, or even at home in their marriages. Sometimes we feel that, oh, okay, you are giving out too much and we don't have. This is because the person is influenced by the day he's born. So when they are beginning to give out so much that it's beginning to affect you at home, you need to be able to find ways to be able to retrace this person's footsteps and know that it's not intentional, that the person just wants to be wasteful and be giving, overly. It's just because they can't help it, and this is how they are. So you need to be able to understand this and then be able to find ways to be able to let the person step back in the way they give. They will be giving, but in a systematic way this time around, without you and your spouse having to argue or fight, a lot about overly giving.
Okay.
So what do we say about Friday and Saturday?
Okay. Friday, Luke 22:54 to 71 tells about all that Jesus went through on the Friday. From the Bible, we read that he was tried by the Jewish authority. He was tried by Pontius Pilate. He was sentenced to death, and then he was crucified and buried. So Friday borns are people who usually go through a lot of challenges, and they also experience a test of their faith in the Lord. And they go through a lot of difficulties. So the only way that they are able to overcome these challenges is when they make Christ their soul, and the one that they Christ, the only one they depend on. That's when they are able to go through life in an easy way and in a cushioned way. Okay. And Friday borns too are supposed to sow good seeds into Tuesday borns, which are their partners, because it's like man and land relationship. So if they sow good things in terms of love, joy, peace, and all that, they reap it. So that is the relationship mainly about Friday borns.
Okay, so they are actually tested.
Yes, they are
sometimes
tested
in
life.
marriages or in relationships, sometimes it comes up like, I don't know what's happening. It's like, my spouse tries this, it doesn't work. I've opened a shop for her, it's not working. And then maybe the lady also feels like he's tried every kind of business, it's also not working, and all of that. Sometimes this could be because their faith is being tested,
yes,
to see how resilient they're going to get to.
Yes.
So it means that when we find ourselves in such positions or situations, we need to be able to understand that there's no room for giving up.
Yes.
These things happen to people born on these days, so we just have to find ways to work it out.
But the amazing thing about Friday, Tuesday, and Saturday borns is they are born as leaders.
Okay.
So despite their leadership position, they go through some tests.
Okay.
But then they are naturally leaders, so they should be encouraged to take in managerial courses, leadership position courses, because that is who they are.
They are. So yes. Saturday, what's happening on Saturday? Saturday,
like we already said in Genesis 2:3, Jesus blessed and sanctified the day and he rested. So Saturday borns are man, represented by man that is blessed. So they are seen as queens and kings, and they like pampering.
Okay.
So they don't mind if you live with a man who is born on a Saturday, he can come home at 12 midnight and still expect you to wake up and go and serve him food. So with that, because he's a king. So if you are that type who easily gets offended with such a behavior, then of course you give up on them. That is the person's nature. Okay. And they like praises as well.
Okay.
So if you want anyone born on a Saturday to give you their best, that means you have to praise them as well and shower a lot of praises on them.
Okay, so we're also seeing what knowledge is saying about them. You know, they are dependable people, generous, loyal, helpful, and very sweet, and also known to be perfect lovers. And for the guys, they are great team leaders. That is where the balance is coming from. They are geniuses, they are gentle, they love music, they are honest, and they are thinkers. So we find ourselves in positions whereby sometimes we feel like, oh, both of us went to work. You know, so why would you expect me to put down my bag and then come and start preparing food for you? I've got a lot of things to do. The kitchen is not sorted. This is not sorted. And yet you want me to come and serve you. Are you a king? You know, this happens, you know, in a lot of relationships and even in marriages. So we need to understand that if we find ourselves in such situations, this is also being influenced by the day the person is born. Saturday borns just love this excessively and always want to be treated as kings. Okay, so based on what you're saying right now, we're opening the phone lines. If you have any question to ask, this is the time you can ask that question. But I'm going to be asking you this. You know, they always say something like opposite terms attracting and then like terms, you know, repelling. I want to see how we'll be able to work this out, but right after this commercial break, we'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome back, but we have to give you this message from Chana Shito. It says, Chana Shito, your #1 choice when it comes to black pepper sauce. Chana Shito is not just regular shito, it's a shito with difference. Shito with chunks of shrimps and herrings with great taste. Chana Shito. Food just got tastier. You can find Chana Shito at Max Mart, Garden Mart, and Frames Oil Mart, Manette. For bulk purchase, call 0244448180 or 02409744461. And social media handles is just Chana Shito. So please pick up your Chana Shito in all these locations we mentioned, and you will definitely be giving yourself a special treat. So before we went on the commercial break, I was going to ask you a question about what they say about opposite terms and like terms, you know, attracting and repelling. But from what you're saying, it means that somehow people are also attracted by similarities.
Yes.
So you see that, okay, this person reasons at this level, and then, you know, you also get attracted to it as well.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Actually, there's no research to prove that opposites attract when it comes to relationships.
Okay.
It's something that we say when it has to do with science. You
Yeah, they say it all the
yes.
time, even in marriage.
Yes.
Oh, you see the man, he's so calm, but the wife, oh, she's fire. That's actually the reason why they got attracted to each other, because, you know, fire and smoke cannot be, you know, have to be together, not fire and fire. People say that all the time.
Yeah.
But from what you're saying, it doesn't look like that's what it is.
Yeah, usually I believe that we get attracted to people who have certain personality traits that we admire.
Okay.
That we don't have, or we might have, but we see ourselves in those people as well. So we feel that when we come together with them, we'll be able to flow and do things in common. And then we'll not have any disagreements or conflicts when it comes to being yourself, because the person also is similar and will understand you better.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much. So we are going to be having what we discussed today on our various social media platforms. So you could just, you know, go back to it and refer to it. If there's something you missed, maybe you were Wednesday born and before you joined the show, you know, you couldn't get what it was. We're going to be repeating the show on Saturday at 12 noon. So I think you should get your pen and then get even something to record it to be able to have that, you know, in your files. It will also be on our platforms at eTVGhana. And we're going to continue this conversation some other time. I'm hoping that you are going to be there, you know, to be able to take us through this. But before we go, do you have some final words for our audience on how to deal with, you know, compatibility in their relationships and marriage? Because from the beginning of the conversation, we've been able to tell that if you're married to somebody of this day, this is how it is and how you should work things out. So just, you know, in a nutshell, a summary of it all.
I would like to say that God created us for a purpose. So everybody is unique in their own way. So we should learn to accommodate each other, work on our weaknesses, and also try to support our partners if they are exhibiting any weaknesses. Actually, the personality traits from the Christian point of view is helping us understand our partners better and
Okay.
our friends and colleagues better, or our family members better, to be able to know when to endure in certain situations and not give up easily. So let's continue to press on, understand people from where they are coming from, and then we'll be able to live in harmony.
Wow, thank you so much. I'd like to also acknowledge all the people who have been working behind the scene to make sure I'm looking this good. The director, whoa, thank you so much. The producer, the cameraman, DOP, you guys are really, really awesome. Phyllis for makeup, thank you so much. Our programs manager, Mrs. Doe, thank you so, so much. And to our beautiful sponsors, Voltic. Wow, Voltic has always been supporting us, and we want to say a very big thank you to you. Chana Shito, find Chana Shito at the various points that we mentioned to you earlier, and you are going to say, wow, it really is good. I'll also not forget the one who took care of my costume, and she's not that person, but Aunt Mary. You can locate Aunt Mary or Buratex Clothing, as her name goes, just at the railway area at the airport west side. If you get there, you're going to get anything it is you want, no matter the occasion it is, and your size is not going to be a problem. The place is really filled with very nice items. And do not forget to tell her that you heard about her on the African Women's Voices show. So she'll give you a treat definitely if you get to say that to her. So I'm going to see you again on Saturday, but not live on our repeat broadcast. Keep watching eTV Ghana and enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you.